Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Quite well on my end. It's been a very nice summery day. It's quite dark in here, so I'm just going to quickly pop the light on. Oh, dear. There we go. Oh, oh, I'm very washed out. Just to check, is the musicy bits audible? Because this is the first time I've ever tried to musicy bits through StreamYard, so I've had to weirdly faff about with stuff. So just a yes or no, would be absolutely wonderful. But good afternoon, Colin. Good afternoon, Degenerate Yellow. I figured we might as well pop on for a little bit of an informal natter. Yeah, it's working. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Radaby Lee. Yeah, I figured we might as well get together, have a little bit of a natter about the football that's coming up this weekend and how we're all feeling. It won't be like a big scripted thing. I won't have various ideas and stuff. Now, I like to say people's names as I'm shouting them out, but you can see why that one could be a little bit of a problem. We'll give it a go. Why? KBHGHNLKJ. Cliffen Bunbukjuk. Munfbudbubahukle. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I agree, Degenerate Yellow. It's definitely a choice. It's not a choice I might have made, but you know what? You do you. If you want an especially funky name, go for an especially funky name. That's completely fine. This isn't one of those streams, Orange Raider. I do not, in fact, have OBS up right now. It is literally just me, StreamYard, and the playlist in the background because it's a nice vibe. Very much, and now I am, especially with Bamford out and Piru, no doubt up top. Yeah, I guess we're getting into this talk already. So a little bit of me is spooked by the Piru potentially going up top because we know that he isn't necessarily that good as a number 9. He doesn't necessarily even play as a number 9. He's a weird hybrid 9-10 thing, but in the way that he isn't even necessarily a false 9 because you expect those to be playing at number 9. I do sort of expect Piru to play. And there was some-ish, big-ish. Ish is doing a lot of work here. Positive notes from the Southampton match on the way that he approached being a number 9 at the very start, being that we scored our goal because he and Somerville and Ruter and Nonto were all pressing really high and hard and trying to make sure that they had to work to get the ball out from the back. And that was nice. That was okay. The issue is when it got to the second half, and I'm not sure whether it's the thing of the entire team effort levels just collapsed because we knew that it probably wasn't going to happen for us or anything else. But it stopped working in the second half, and I don't know why, but it did. And arguably, that is something that we should very, very much look at fixing. And I thought my name was it. Absolutely Degenerate Yellow. You do have a very weird name. And I've just noticed that your profile picture is the word me. But yeah. I think I prefer to see Nonto in the 9 rather than Piru. I don't know how I feel about that. Because I think Nonto would be a very similar thing. Because as much as we might like to think he will, Willie hasn't ever played as a straight number 9. Off the top of my head, he might have done for like Italy and stuff. But as far as I can tell, whenever he has played as the number 9, he's been instructed to do the false 90 things and go for a wander across the front line and sort of try and poke and prod and cause issues with people. So I don't know if that is the best way forward for us here. I don't know if that would instead just cause very similar issues of you've done the same as Piru, well done, you've just done it with nicer footwork, if that makes sense. Maybe we should go back to Piru at the 10 and Ruter up top. It worked for the first half of the season. Question is, did it? Because with that setup, absolutely everyone was saying, well, Ruter's dropping in more and picking the ball up deep and trying to do playmaking things. Why isn't he our number 10? The way that Georgie was playing in that period had everyone anyway saying, okay, so who's actually our number 10? And now the question is who's actually on number 9 because Georgie's moved position, which is really confusing and gives headaches. And to think that it's a little bit of a pain in the arse for the likes of me and other content creative people, I can't imagine what it's like in Daniel Farker's shoes right now to go, I don't know what's going on because it's just wild. If James is fit, I'd put Willie up front. Maybe. I feel like I have a big firm disagree on that. Also, can someone let me know if the music levels are okay? Because they're trying to be like background vibe chill, but just let me know. I think with this, I wouldn't say Willie up front. I think you're missing the Joseph of it all because he can probably do 90 minutes up there, maybe. Like I'm fully prepared to admit that I was wrong earlier in the season when I was in that spot of I don't want to play Mateo Joseph because pressure and all that stuff. But then we saw Piru in those must-win games, and he just was nowhere near where he needed to be. I will pop it up another teensy tiny bit. Just let me know if it comes across. Okay, I've volumed up once. I'll get onto a more fun one. Is that audible? I can't tell. Piru has knocked in 13 goals, I think. If he can get a few more, we win. That's very true. It is, because no matter what, he has been scoring goals. It's just, is he having the impact across the rest of the front line? That I think is the real question that everyone is asking, because it's a fair question to ask. Because, yeah, he's working hard, but I don't know if he's the right profile to be working hard in that position. If he can get goals in the 10, fantastic. I don't know if he contributes to our play style right in the 9. If all of that makes sense. I don't know. I'm just saying words at the moment. But yeah. If you haven't yet, by the way, I'd massively appreciate popping a like on the stream. Helps it get pushed out a little bit, and we just get more people in this nice little chat that we're having. It's fantastic. Nonto played at 9 with Italy for a game. Did he? Italy's youth or Italy's senior side? Because that is genuinely a surprise to me. Somerville and Rotea are allowed or allow themselves to free run. They're much more effective. Yeah, I like this. Something that I noted in the earliest games of Daniel Farker was that we had that front four of was it Nonto at that point? Sort of. There might have been Sinister in there, but we had that front four. We had the 3 and we had the 1. And it wasn't just they were playing in their own positions. It was everyone can go for a little bit of a wander and just sort of see how they do in those other positions. And Ruter would drift out to the right, and let's say it might have been Willie Nonto on the right at that point, would drift in at the 10. And then if Somerville was thinking, okay, I've got the ball out on the left, but I want to cut inside, he could cut inside, Nonto could drift out left. And we had Piru as well, so there was a little bit of vertical rotation in there. And that was great fun. And we've sort of gone away from that a little bit as the season's gone on. And I didn't hugely like that we've gone away from that, because that was good fun. I enjoyed watching football like that rather than like just it got results. And at the end of the day, isn't that what football is? It's like entertainment. Gotta hope. Dan James can make a big difference in this game. He absolutely could. The only fear with Dan James is he's not necessarily fit yet. He's the player that's sort of on the brink. He's the player that we don't know if he's going to be able to make it, which is spooky, I'd say. Because him coming off the bench against and I'm going to be as nice as I can be to a person that's been charged with drink driving, a tired, aging. I just want to make sure that this is right because I don't want to accidentally slander the guy, but I've heard something from a friend of mine that's a Norwich fan. Yep, sorry. A tired, aging centre-back that's been charged with drink driving and his wife left him. It's a hell of a portfolio for Shane Duffy right now. And that means that he's someone that, like, if you've got a little bit of niggle in you, if you've got, like, that Willie Nonto-ness, the shithousery, the Dan James shithousery, you can absolutely get on his back. And I don't think he's going to be good for the full 90. I don't think he's going to be good to begin with. But for the full 90, absolutely no. Just to check on this, Orange Rider, let me know if you can hear the backgroundy bits now. Hear me out, go 4-4-2 with Joseph and Peru up top. James and Somerville out wide would get the best out of Peru, then you can bring the unreliable Nonto and tired Reter from the bench. I wouldn't call Nonto unreliable, though, that's the thing. Nonto's away form has been incredible. He scored once at home this season. So if anything, his home form maybe is unreliable. But away from home, Nonto's been wild. It's been great. Nonto used to be a centre forward. Thank you for letting me know. I think he might have been the drifty around kind, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll trust you on that one. I choose not to hear you out. Whoa, degenerate yellow. Don't think you got a choice because now I've heard him out. And I feel like you're probably in the stream. If not, I don't know how you've got the chat open. Could you have Piru as the 10 and Joseph as the 9? Rete's not been doing much in the last few games. The question is, from that point, trying to find a way to describe it. Right. I'm gonna make that full screen and I'm gonna open a new tab. Tactical board. I wonder what old football thing it's got loaded up at the moment. There'll be something adventurous, I'm sure. Hi Joe, did you see Luke Humphries? I did not. I'm not really into darts. So I just yeah, sorry. I'll occasionally watch bits and bobs, but not much. Um, okay, sure, do cookies. That's fine. Right, half a football pitch. Bosh. Okay, ignore the fact I'm using an ad block, please. Thingy. You guys, please don't use ad blocks because it's quite nice to be able to do this. And it makes sure that I've got more stuff to put towards the prostate cancer UK stuff, which is really nice. So, just was Wales, Scotland on TV, 1979 Leeds v Leeds. We're going to win tomorrow. I understand what all of those words mean individually, but not together. Hopefully the team will do us proud. Shame no Bamford though. Good about that, but unless Dan James is back. Yeah, I hope Dan James is back because that could be absolutely colossal for us. Do you think Gray starts at right back or Roberts? I will get into this in a moment because I'm going to do a very quick breakdowny thing of what the team really needs to be doing in terms of structure. Because I'm going to go back to this. Could you have Piru as the 10 and Joseph as the 9 shebang? So let's pull up you. We will say I'll just go with numbers. You're the number 9. You're the number 10. You are the numbers. 7's a wingy number, isn't it? 7 and 11. You're all right, mate. I love that, like, football positions have traditional numbers. It's such a weird thing to me. Right, let's pull them inside a little bit because realistically, that's where they're going to play. I'm going to make ourselves a right back and a left back as well. A little bit of a natter on it. So, what's effectively going to happen is Dan James isn't going to be fit enough to start. We know that. Which means that this guy here, start it, I'm going to label you. It's going to be really gnont. Yeah, okay. Nomper. There we go. This is going really well, isn't it? For now, I'm going to call you Peru, and I'm going to call you Reset. You're just going to be Sville, because I can't be bothered typing the entire thing. It's undoubtedly going to be Furco on the left, and it is going to be, in my opinion, Connor Roberts on the right, because you get a little bit of a zoom in. Oh, let me zoom. Please let me zoom. Oh, that's a pain. Oh, there we go. That'll do. Right, so I'll say Norwich will play in a back four. Why not? But we'll just have to sort of build, and we'll go with 2 holding midfielders as well. So this is your Norwich team, and this is your Leeds attack. The reason I'm going with Connor Roberts is because what he likes to do is hug the touchline a hell of a lot more than Archie Gray does. Archie Gray likes to cut inside because he's at heart a midfielder, likes being in those sort of areas. Roberts being wide works really well with having Nonto out here, who is a big fan of cutting in and challenging both the centre back and the left back at the same time. You've got a situation where we're having an attack, Nonto's on the ball, draws that left back over to try and deal with him, and Roberts on the overlap. Brilliant. That ball in becomes a hell of a lot easier for us. Whereas with Archie, who prefers to sort of cut in a little bit, you'd sort of end up with this area getting a little bit overpacked, and Willie can't play the ball that he wants to play. My thought on the Pirro as the 10 and Joseph as the 9 thing. I've completely forgotten what Mateo Joseph number is. It 40 something? 44 is Gruev. 47? Someone correct me on that. But the issue is if you drop what our problem is at the moment, and I know I'm throwing a lot of words around right now because I don't hugely know what I'm trying to put together in my wordage, is when Piru gets the ball and doesn't know what to do, he isn't quick at releasing it. Piru gets the ball in these areas, receives it, you'll get maybe a Somerville run, maybe a Nonto run, but he doesn't release it to those players because he's overly packed. Joseph might be 49, I don't know. There we go. So Piru gets the ball here, the defence clogs up because they have time to get back in. Centre backs close up, full backs close up, and then look, Firpo and Roberts might try and overlap, but you've got this horseshoe of doom that we always tend to run into in those games where everyone says we're really predictable and things aren't good. Because they can be predictable and not good. The issue, in my opinion, is if you drop Ritter, who, let's be honest, knows how to find a creative pass better than Piru does, and play Joseph instead. Do this. Return everyone to the normal positions. So Firpo can go back here, Roberts can go back here, Somerville back to your wing, midfielders back to midfield, you go here, you go here. Cool. This is the back line again. Something looks wrong. It doesn't look symmetrical, but that's fine. I don't care that much. This time, the ball comes into Piru. Central midfielders clog him up. And as always, he's not great at releasing the ball. But because he's not great at releasing the ball, let's call you 4, and let's call you, I've forgotten Joe Rodon's number. So at 5, you're Charlie Crosswell right now. But because the pressure's here, and he's not very good on the turn, and he's not good at releasing forwards when his back is away from goal, you'll still get these runs, and occasionally, yeah, you might find Roberts out here, and that'll change the game a little bit. But you've still got the issue of Piru gets the ball and the attack clogs up, the attack slows down. And that momentum that we have goes away a bit because he finds that ball backwards and then suddenly they're out again, happy enough. And then you're reliant on the ball over the top. You're reliant on huffing it a little bit, which isn't really what you want to be doing in a playoff final, semi-final, sorry, when you've not been doing that all season. That's putting a lot of pressure on yourself. So I think if you do want to play Joseph in the 9, it's got to be this. Because the amount of times we've seen Rutter like receive the ball and then try something, that's what we need more than someone that receives the ball and goes, "How's the safe way to keep possession?" Because safety's fun. Safety's great. Safety doesn't necessarily win you matches. Wins you leagues, but that didn't happen. So big thank you, by the way, to Carol for becoming a YouTube member. That's massively appreciated. Thank you very much. All that YouTube membership revenue right now is going to Prostate Cancer UK until the end of the campaign that I'm doing with them. Big announcement on that after the end of Leeds United season. So whether that's after Thursday at Elland Road, whether that's after Wembley on, I think, the 25th, 26th, sorry, 25th is the FA Cup final, I will have a video explaining what's coming next, and that should be great fun. So thank you very much, Carol. That's going to go to a wonderful cause. It won't start Roberts. It will be Gray. It depends, I think, because as much as a lot of people like to think so, I think Daniel Farke's not an idiot, really. I think it's a spot where, because Nonto is in there and he knows Nonto's playstyle and he knows Robert's playstyle and he knows Gray's playstyle, he knows that if I know you're 22, Archie. He knows that if, and I will do a quick swap here and go back to this one. He knows that if you've got Gray and he receives the ball, he will like to dribble with it. He will like to cut inside a bit, and then Nonto's forced to stay wide. And that's not where Nonto likes to be either. So neither of those players are having the impact that you need by doing this. So I think it's gonna be a question of fitness. We know that Roberts is fitter than he was, but I don't know. We'll find out. I'm hopeful for Roberts, just because he's the right sort of play style for this game. Last 5 years, 3rd and 4th place teams have alternated as to which team has gone up. Last year it was 3rd place Luton, so by rights it'll be 4th place Southampton this season. Ah, come on. We know that if any club is good at breaking patterns that we think make sense, it's us. We've never been a team that follows the rules. We've never been a team that follows the patterns. We've always been a team that do things a little bit the wrong way, which is fun. He needs to change it around because he's playing the same old other and other. How do you mean? The issue is we don't have that deep a squad, so the amount of rotation that you can do is not much. Yeah, this should charge you to go into Batu Caves, KL, at the moment they are free. What? Batu Caves? I'm guessing KL. Is that maybe Kuala Lumpur? Why am I distracted by this? Let's have a search. Batu Caves. I don't know why that auto corrected on Google either. Maybe it's listening to me. That'd be wild. It is outside Kuala Lumpur. Why would I have a strong opinion on Batu Caves? I have never been to Malaysia. But sod it. Yeah, keep them free. Everyone deserves to be able to access nature, I guess. But sure. I think Farke goes with Melier, Roberts, Rodon, Ampadu, Firpo, Gruev, Kamara, Somerville, Rutte, Nonto, and Biru. I think that might be the case as well. I'm hopeful that what we see instead is Matteo up top. But you never know. It's not necessarily going to happen. We'll see. Gray or Kamara, that depends on what we're trying to do. In my preview video that I did this morning, did I publish it this morning? I think I did. Sorry, I filmed it at like 2:15 a.m., so I'm a bit like, oh my god, when did the video come out? Um, in that video, I said along the lines of they will try and be transitional, and we will thrive if we lean into that, if we try and play the transitional fun stuff as well, because transitional football is what we've been best at throughout this season, as long as we do it in a structured way. So as long as at all times one of your Gruev or Kamara is sticking in, I would say Gruev, and I would prefer us to play Archie, if only because I don't know how I'd phrase this. If only because Archie has that more sort of box to box style. He's someone that when he gets the ball is happy to just drive with it and go and push and look for the next opportunity to do something good, which I love to see because sod it. I like Archie. I don't even know if that music is audible. So someone let me know because last time I found out it was not. You can make whoever you want in whatever position, but the bottom line is if we don't improve significantly, we will get beat over two legs. What I'm going to do very quickly is I am going to not that one, not that one, not that one, that one. I'm going to pull up Flash Score. No, damn it. What's going on? That's a pain. I bet it does if I do this. But if it doesn't, that's okay. It's just a nice little background for me in that case. But I've got rid. Right, Flash Score, Championship. We've got standings. We say we need to improve, which is fair. We do need to improve. We've not been very good recently. But to be fair, we've got a win in our last three. Wasn't necessarily comfy, but it's a win, and a win's a win. We then lost to QPR. Yes, that was horrific. Then lost to Southampton. I feel in the second half of that Southampton match, we basically went, it's not happening. Ipswich are 2-0 up. Looking at Norwich, who throughout the final days of the season could have very, very easily dropped out the playoff spots. Most recent win was against Preston, 1-0. Preston, in that period, lost every single one of their games. They then drew against Bristol City, down in 11th. They then drew against Swansea. Where are Swansea? 14th. They then proceeded to lose to relegation zone Birmingham, who got relegated despite beating Norwich. So as much as, yeah, we were crap at the end of the season, we lost games against Blackburn, we lost against QPR, and that was a really bad game of football. At the same time, they're also on an equally horrific run of form. And I think we're doing right now what we do is, I've just realised I wasn't sharing that for the entire thing. Here we go. Yeah. So their final 3 games is a draw against Bristol, who are in 11th, who were on fairly naff form. A draw against Swansea, who, yeah, they were coming back into it, and a loss to Birmingham. Who, relegation battle, sure. That's not a game you want to lose, especially when on that day, getting into the playoffs was on the line. It wasn't guaranteed in any way, shape, or form. So I feel like what we've done is, as Leeds fans, we do what we always do, and it's we look inward and think, how are we going to mess this up? Rather than looking at the bigger picture and thinking, okay, but they can mess it up. Because it's not just us. There are 2 teams in this game of football, and they are also ravaged with injury. Apparently, I was talking to one of their fans recently, and they're really not happy with what's coming here. I'll just quickly scroll to find one of the messages. On the fact that it looks like Shane Duffy might be starting, he said that we should be delighted. On the idea that Ashley Barnes isn't going to be fit, it was a bit of a, we're in a bit of trouble here kind of response. And going into it, he was just generally like, I'm really not confident here. So I don't know. As much as we like to be terrified, we don't have to be every single time. We can feel okay. I know that as a club, it feels like we're in a constant place of needing therapy, but things aren't always bad and things aren't always going to be bad. On the subject of things being bad, even if you think the stream is bad, please drop a like on it. That'd be much appreciated. Helps it get pushed out and stuff. I need what Joe's got, and it's just a bunch of chatters going, like the stream. That feels like it'd be really helpful. We've never won the playoffs, but it's about time that changed. That can be a little bit of a problem. Yeah. I was looking back at our playoff past, and we've gotten there 5 times. And the first time that we got there, semi-finals were 2 legs, and the final was 2 legs. And even then, it went to a nice, lovely little trip to Birmingham, where we lost. And that was the closest that we've ever come, basically. We got to an extra leg of the playoff final, and we still lost, which is very Leedsy, I think. But you know what? Everything in terms of patterns breaks down eventually. Entropy in it. So I think we'll be okay. I thought we just gave up in the Southampton game because we knew we weren't going up. I am in the same spot there, I think. I think it got to the point where we were like, it's done. I think we just try and not get injured. And I think you could tell that by some of the changes that we made towards the end of that game as well. It's my last 2 months in England before I move to Thailand. I really need a Wembley visit. I could do with a visit to Wembley as well. So how about we just fucking beat Norwich and we get that nice little trip to Wembley? That'd be wonderful. We never do things the easy way, absolutely. But then again, I think doing things the easy way puts you in sort of that like Man City position, and it looks boring to be a Man City fan, let's be honest here. Being a Manchester City fan feels a bit like, oh, so we've won again. But only this time it was 2-0, not 4-0. So I'm going to start booing. So I quite like the fact that we're a little bit wild. Would love to see Leeds win against Scum. I absolutely would too. I mean, I'm assuming that this is your version of Scum, which is Norwich. And I would love to see them sell all the best players this season. I would love to be able to sign as Leeds United Gabriel Sara. And I only entirely say this because of my Football Manager streams. Not biased in the slightest. I absolutely am biased. Sorry, apparently next door are trying to break into their own house because they've gotten locked out. Which, yeah. And they've set off their own alarm, but we didn't even know they had an alarm. They don't seem like the kind of people to have an alarm. Who knows? I don't think the occasion will get to the players, but I can't say the same for Farker. I'm not entirely sure how, even if that did happen, that would be a problem, is my issue. Because he's not on the pitch. As I've kept on saying throughout the season, he can't kick ball in hole, but therefore he can't miss the shot for Crescencio Somerville. So Norwich are bang average, but that fact has the inverse effect of making us more nervous. That's also very true. There is the positive of all the teams in the playoffs. Norwich are the team that we've beaten at some point this season. It's a big boost. That makes me feel good. That is a fantastic vibe. I love it. However, I can see why it's made you nervous. The past has no bearing on our team of today. Leedsy is an excuse for poor management. Was it an excuse when in 2019 we got knocked out of the playoffs? Because everyone referred to that as Leedsy. And I just want to make sure that with that squad that was significantly up there, I just want to make sure that we're not doing a double standard here, because it feels like that's often the case. And it feels like a lot of these conversations go, well, this is bad, but when it happened before, it was fine. And that feels a little bit silly to me. Got no hope. I know form goes out the window and all, but Christ, 7 points from 24 does not give me hope. Let's have a look at Norwich's last 8 games. We got 6 from the last 5, which isn't that many points, to be fair. Yeah, they had decent form before that, but they are currently mid-slump, as far as I can tell. Which is good, if anything. It shows that they're just on the decline, which might be nice. Since I made my music go away, it's been bizarrely quiet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on some cheeky little... If it wants to play. It's not going to play. Night drive. Right. Oh, underdogs with form. Maybe that's a good thing, as we're not too cocky. Yeah. We're in a spot where we need to win. And every single player in that team will be like, kind of mess this one up. And we're the people that can fix it. And that's why I'm glad that this team is looking a lot more of a unit right now. Because as a unit, they can help to turn things around. As individuals that are just sort of vibing their way through the football world, less so. But I'm feeling okay. Farker may impact the game with subs. Yeah, that's true. But then it's up to those subs to do the job. Can we put Farker in the 9? I'm trying to think of who we could put in the 9. I think, and this is a theory, but off the top of my head, if we wanted, we could play Harry Gray in the 9. Because we don't need to register youth players. Obviously, there's other youth players as well. I'm not just specifically being we need to play Harry Gray, because that's insane. But he's up there. Only Bamford and Strouk and Bamford were there for the derby loss. I'm assuming one of them you meant to say Cooper. Because you did say Bamford twice. Yeah, and that's a case of... It was complete head loss from absolutely everyone at the same time. It was Kiko Casilla let in the most stupid goal I might have ever seen. And from that point, it was all a bit, what do we do now? And what we did now was the wrong thing and lost the match. But the current situation, I feel a little bit more confident, a little bit happier with it. I think we will win both legs, but lose at Wembley. We only won once, that was the FA Cup. That was also a different Wembley. So we've only technically played at this Wembley one time. Call up Harry to play the 9. Maybe. I mean, it's... I've heard stupider shouts from across the Leeds United fan base over the last few weeks, so sod it. We'll make that happen. Hashtag start Harry Gray. Just spam it in the chat. Eventually that might work out. Never forgiven Derby for that. I was annoyed at the time. I knew it was all our fault, because at the end of the day, they can't cause our team to fall apart. But it's more funny in hindsight when you look at it and go, yeah, but they got relegated, didn't they? They didn't go up anyway. Norwich seem like a glass cannon to me. Really good attackers, not great defenders. Might blow us away, might explode themselves. Yeah, that's basically what I got from the guy that I was talking to. It's distinctly, incredibly, if they've got the right players on the pitch, then they're good. A lot of what I've heard is they need Josh Sargent, and so we need to shut down Josh Sargent. I don't know whether that'll be a case of trying to man-mark him out of the game. We don't seem to do it that much. We tend to go for like a more structured approach. But if we can stop Sargent doing his thing, brilliant, fantastic, wonderful, all good. If we can't, then we got a few more questions. Should win easily and hopefully West Brom make the final. That would be very nice. I wouldn't mind playing against West Brom. Start Harry Gray. Thank you, Degenerate Yellow. You see, you've got the vibe. Mitchell's got the vibe. There we go. We keep on going. Harry Gray is going to score us the winner in the playoff final. Why not? More confident about the final than the semi-final. I'll feel more confident once we're through the semi-final if that does happen. If we do get through the semi-final, then I'll know that we have a good level of ability and character in the side, and that is what we'll use to push forward. But until we have that, there's still going to be that fear about what's the mindset feeling like, sort of thing. And we need to remember that Southampton and West Brom we've not beaten this season. Who knows? Who knows? It's wild. Let's talk final when we're there. Let's talk semi-final while we're dealing with that one. On Thursday, I don't think I'm working. Do I do a watch-along? Like nice vibesy watch-along? Maybe. Yeah, but when we're at the new Wembley, we got well beat. Yeah, but we've been well beaten at the old Wembley. Been well beaten at Millennium Stadium. Football pitch is a football pitch. The only thing that differs is the size, and the size of Wembley is sort of good for us, I think. Because we like to play that expansive stuff, have a little bit more space. It works. Wow, the FC Manager 24 is a good game. I have no idea what game you're talking about. Unless you're talking about Football Manager, in which case I have an idea. Play 3-5-2 with Cooper up front with Harry. That would be incredible. No, what we do is we play a 4-3-3. And your front three is Harry Gray, Archie Gray, Eddie Gray. Perfect. Southampton aren't that good in the finals, and you're off to the second leg at Elland Road. Very nice. I missed out on the membership tickets by a matter of minutes. I had them in my basket, and I tried to get them, and it wouldn't let me check out, which was fun. So if I can't get a ticket in the ballot for Thursday, I don't know. I'll do a poll. Watch along for Leeds, West Brom. At home. I can't do tomorrow because I am a worky boy throughout the entire day. I am working at the same time as the match, so that is devastating. There's a poll in the chat, by the way, if you're someone that watches on full screen. Fair enough. But just pop a vote on the poll. Let me know what you think. We got dominated by QPR. I don't expect anything against these teams. We did a bit, but at the same time, I'm going to hop through a little bit of statistic-iness and just find some numbers. Because I like numbers. Numbers are quite good. Numbers are reliable. They're firm, solid. We like it. Right. Southampton FBref. And give me in this tab a West Brom FBref. And give me in this tab a Norwich FBref. Did I say West Brom? Oh, I'm an idiot. Right, hold on. Sorry, I'll end poll and restart it. do a watch along for the home leg if I have no ticket, of course. Because if I have a ticket, let's be honest, I'm going. Bosh, do we do a watch along? Let me know. Yeah, on the getting dominated by a QPR thing, we need to remember that, again, we're not the only team playing this game of football. Two sides. So, in the case of Southampton, a couple of weeks ago, they got dicked 5-0 by Leicester. They got beaten 4-1 by Leicester. They got dicked 5-0 by Sunderland. They lost to Ipswich in both of their matches, so none of the other top 4 teams, aside from us, they've beaten. They lost 3-1 to Gillingham, just for a little bit more context. So Southampton, very, very capable of having trouble. Let's have a quick look at West Brom. Lost 3-0 to Sheffield Wednesday. First result that's popped up. That doesn't scream good. Neither does losing 3-1 to Birmingham. Or 2-1 to Huddersfield. They've lost to a lot of lower level teams. And we'll give Norwich a quick look as well. I don't know how they've done, but we'll find out. It's not my goals against this time. Oh! Forgot that happened. Yeah, they've lost 6-2 to Plymouth. We've beaten them twice already. We lost 1-0 to Blackburn. They lost 3-1 to Blackburn. They've lost to Rotherham, who are bottom of the table. Completely immobile for the entire time. So, as much as we lost embarrassingly to QPR, every other team in the playoffs has had an embarrassing loss. We're not unique here. It happens to everyone. Can Willie play strike? I think he does for Italy under 21s. He did in the past. The matches I've seen him, he's been more of a left winger for Italy, which he's really good at. But even when he does play on the inside, he floats about a little bit. Norwich aren't a bad team, are they? They're not bad, no. They're shaky, is what I've heard. They're reliant on things working for them, and if things don't work for them, they'll get a little bit like, ooh, which sort of like us. But that's okay. That's fine. I hope Farker doesn't wear that damn coat. Which coat? Which is the coat that you don't like? I've not paid attention to any of Daniel Farker's coats. I'll be completely honest with you. Tomorrow and the rest of the season. How do you mean? Unless this was when I was talking about work. I don't know. Home legs against Carlisle. Shit. I knew it. I knew I'd made a mistake somewhere. I knew it was a silly little error. When was Piru's first goal when he scored for Leeds? It was his first match. Who was it against? I know he scored against Swansea, but I don't know if that was his first one. I love that you've just kicked off that part of my brain that's like, oh yeah, there's a fun fact to be found somewhere. Evil, because when that bit of me starts going, it's like, the nerd's free. Right, Jean-Pierre stats. Let's go to matches from this season. I didn't know he played for Swansea 3 times this season. But okay. Right. His first match for Leeds United was... No, that's for Swansea. Was against Ipswich. And he scored, which is nice. Gills is a stadium. Temporary stands for the last 20 years. Awful. I see you're thinking, but at this point, are they still temporary stands? Or are they just stands? I think that's a very fair question. And I'm going to stand by it, even though it's a stupid question. It's 24 degrees tomorrow. He's going to go full Borat. Right. Should we do that? Should we? Because I know we've got hashtag Start Harry Gray going on. But if we get promoted, should we do a thing where we're like hashtag Daniel Farker Mankini and we just try and make it happen on the open top bus parade? Because I imagine that would be either majestic or horrifying, and there isn't a middle ground. There isn't a Daniel Farker's built like a normal person, because he is massive. in terms of like big strong boy vibe. I miss Luke Ayling. He was a great captain for us. Got the team fired up. He did. Yeah, I would have liked to have I would have liked to have had him back. But I feel like we might be in a spot where he's invited along to these games anyway. Because Borough's season's done. Borough's season finished a while back. So, I mean, there's nothing stopping him from coming along having a watch. Could be quite nice for him. They always seem to rely on Sargent when he doesn't know how to go forward. Yeah. Oh, the long black. He's also got a green one. Well, I know he's got multiple coats. You never know. Why that coat? Why are you opposed to that coat in particular? That's what's weird to me. On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about tomorrow? For the match itself, I'll give you a 6. For the general vibe of the afternoon, I'll go with like an 8 or 9. I'm only going with an 8 or 9 because I'm on a work call throughout the entire thing. I'm doing a shift that starts at 8 a.m. and finishes at something like 3 p.m. And with a noon kickoff, that's tough. I'm going to have to stay very quiet and mic muted for very, very long periods of that. Piru's first goal for Leeds was away. It was indeed. Thank you very much. I want to see Farker prowling his technical area barking orders, not just sitting there shrugging like he did for the QPR game. At that point, though, you're like 3-0 down. Like, everyone's going to feel a bit now. I think Leeds will do well against Norwich, but lose out in the finals. At least we get the trip to Wembley. Let's keep scrolling. What about captain? Because we've got no leader on the pitch. Yeah, well, yeah. I would have quite like what's his name? Strauch. I would quite like Strauch to have been back by the end of the season to do a little bit of captaincy, but seemingly not. You jumped over someone and scored. You might as well whilst you're at it, turn it into hurdles. Worst stadium I've been to is Coventry City. I don't think I've done any away days. I've been to like 4 football grounds, I think. Not many. I've 10 minutes from the John Smiths, what a dump. That's Huddersfield, isn't it? I've walked past that. Quite nice. Is it Huddersfields? I don't want to get this wrong. Let's have a Google. John Smith Stadium. Surely it's Huddersfields. It is Huddersfields, yeah. Yeah, walk past that on the Square Balls Big Ol' Walk. Nice walk. Nice adventure. Farker's going to be completely ripped. Yeah, he's going to be a brick of a man. He's a wide big boy. And he scares me. Fark will be in full lederhosen, complete with pointy hat and shoes. It's definitely a look. It's definitely something. Whether it's something that I want to condone, maybe not, but that's fine. Can we have brown polo, Farker? Does he want a brown polo? We're at risk of getting into the weird side of like Leeds chat here, aren't we? Has LUFC data done stats on Farker clothes? I can pull up LUFC data, but I don't remember seeing a what has Daniel Farker worn list before. I hope not, because that is bordering on a little bit creepy. Funny, but creepy. They do have a tab for Daniel Farker, so let's see if there's something about clothes. It's like taking your dog down to the vet's waiting for it to be put down. No, that's harsh. I'm still in the reasonably feeling okay camp. Again, this is because it's like with that stream I did a while back. I've always been from the point of view of there's not really any point in feeling as down as you can and looking for the negatives going into a game of football, because once you're doing that, you've not enjoyed the week going up to the match, and then the match happens. Then if you lose, you've not been happy at any point of the process, and if you win, you get a bit happy, but then you're looking at the next match and you're like, oh no, we're doomed again. So I mean, I'm in the spot of let's look at it in a fun way. If it goes wrong, then you be critical, but then you look at the next game and you say, okay, so what's going to happen here? And you just be a little bit jolly. Hello, baby Zebra Games. Loyal moderator. Once had a race with Delroy Facey outside John Smith Stadium, McAlpine Stadium back then. My mate went to school with him. That is the weirdest anecdote I've ever heard. I've had a lot of anecdotes. I have an anecdote about hearing anecdotes. It's this one right now. You're in it. Do you think Gelhardt has a future at Leeds? That in... I'm tempted to say no. Because as much as I like him, I don't know how much development he's got to do. I don't know like how high his ceiling is compared to where he is now, which makes it a little bit tricky. But what isn't tricky is popping a like on the stream. Thank you very much. Or subscribing if you're not yet. That's always massively appreciated too. It's 2 clicks. Come on. Burnley relegated, losing 2-1 to Tottenham with 1 match left. They can't catch 4th bottom. Nottingham Forest. Luton Town also virtually relegated, 3 points behind Forest and would have to overturn minus 13 goals. God, just enforce FFP in the first place, you know. Automatic relegation if you have broken financial fair play. Is anyone saying no? Well, other than the fans of those teams. But they're wrong. Let's have a quick look at the table, shall we? Oh, that title race is a bit tight, isn't it? It's looking like Forest will somehow survive breaching FFP a hilarious amount of times, and they've got Chelsea next, so there's going to be points there. Well. Brian Clough didn't know what to tell any players during any of his time at Leeds United, but that's fair. Championship doesn't worry me, at least we'll have something to play for other than keeping out the relegation spots. Yeah. I mean, the way I've started looking at it is, last season, we spent the entirety of the time miserable. We spent the whole thing just sort of like, well, you know, we might have got a win here, but we're going to need 3 more by the end of December and stuff like that. And it was all very like, this is just sad, you know? Whereas in the Championship, at least you're winning. And yes, there's pressure, and if you lose, it feels a hell of a lot worse. But like, at least we get to win some games of football, you know? I once dated a girl whose father was head of security at Carrow Road, so I got to go backstage. That's very nice. Closest I've come to that is when I asked real nicely, and they were put me in the press box for a match or two. That was nice. Based on your sign at the back, can we be grumpy if Pat Bamford is too injured to play? Look me in the eyes. Everyone look me in the eyes right now. We don't do grumpy around these parts. We do jolly. Occasionally we do critical. We don't do grumpy. Good vibes. I'm watching you. I feel like that was a dangerous feature for me to learn about, but why don't we just spend 100 million over Leicester, Forest and Everton? Shameful. Yeah. It's at the point where it's admittedly, it's hard to see what the benefit was of staying within the rules, because obviously, like, it's massively turned around on us. We followed the rules and we've been screwed over as a result. But that's something that happens, I guess. People that break rules eventually get, like, benefits from it. But then again, Everton are severely at risk of going into administration. So I think things can only get so bad for so many people. Unless we're getting a points deduction when they go up. So they might just come right back down. cheating only sometimes prospers, and we didn't take the gamble, which is fair enough, I think. Last season, Leeds went down on 31 points, bottom three with 1 match remaining. Sheffield United on 16, Burnley on 24, Luton on 26. How sad is that? That is genuinely miserable. Hate that. Nope, not for me. Would have been quite good if we could have been in the Premier League this season, because I feel like it doesn't matter which Leeds side of the last decade you put in that Premier League, they're probably fine. Because that is a weak Premier League this season. We spent all of the last season miserable because we had a bad squad, bad manager, and bad owner. Now I think those problems are solved. I think we could easily stop if we go up. That's the hope. It'd be very nice. I'd like to do that. But it's a case of even if we don't go up, like, we're going to win some football matches. It's going to be quite nice. Definitely didn't screen grab that. That's fine. I mean, it's literally in a live stream. So, and the live stream's staying up. Same with Villa 2. They broke the rules, yet went up in the playoffs. They did, and that was really annoying. But then Derby broke the rules and didn't go up. And that was really funny. So, would it be ambitious if the 49ers parted company with Farke at the end of the season? Right. Okay. So, I'm going to hone in on this one for a minute. Right. In the event that, for example, we get to the playoff final and lose on penalties or something daft like that, we don't go up. A manager that has got on the second highest points tally in the club's history. I'm going to very quickly check the stats on this one because I want to make sure it's still correct. But last time I checked, had the highest win percentage of any manager in the club's history. If you sack him, not only do you have to answer the question of what managers are better than this that are currently on the market, because you tell me who on the market is a better manager right now than Daniel Farke. Tell me. Go on. Fire it off. But then you have to answer the question of, okay, so you've done historically well and broken a lot of records with this club, including you've matched the record for unbeaten and wins in a row. What manager goes, you know what, I want to work there. I want to work at the place where someone did astoundingly well and got sacked anyway. Because at this point, you're punishing Daniel Farke for Ipswich having a really good season. And I don't really see what more Daniel Farke could have done to stop Ipswich having that good season, considering we beat them twice. And I don't see how Daniel Farke could have done anything else to stop Leicester having a good season, considering we beat them twice. So I don't understand. I don't understand any managers that would ever possibly make that move, because it would be stupid of the managers to move to Leeds after we do that, and it would be stupid of us to do that in the first place. Yeah, it's this. It's the problem Bayern Munich are having. No one at all is considering a move to Bayern Munich. So many managers are on the free market right now, which have not even necessarily like the free floaty market, but they approached, I think, Arne Slot, they approached Xabi Alonso, they approached Ruben Amorim, they approached De Zerbi, I think, and all of those managers looked at it and went, okay, so this is a historic big side in Germany that win a lot of trophies, but they are currently in the process of sacking someone that's done really well and got into a Champions League semi-final. So there's evidence that it doesn't work. There's evidence that it is daft and causes damage. It's this. It's not even a conversation. The board have already said they're standing by him. It's a stupid chat to have. But it's one where, once you get me going, I don't really stop having that chat. Made my peace. If Leeds were to stay in the Championship, knowing the teams relegated are not as strong as Leicester, Leeds and Southampton, just hoping no club from League One do an Ipswich. It doesn't look like any of them will. I don't know. Part with Farker if we go up, but not if we stay down. No, because then you got the same issue. If you part with Farker if you go up, you're punishing someone for doing their job. And we know that our style works better against the good teams, which is what tends to be up there. Premier League sides won't play a low block against a team that's just gotten promoted from the Championship. And that'll be okay. Maybe Deitch, but yeah. Might get Daly Smith coming on at halftime, pissed up, shouting, "Let's be having you." Yeah, that'd be fun. I find it amusing the dislike Farker gets considering his actual record. Absolutely this. Even Rangnick turned down Bayern Munich. Yep, and we'd be in the same spot just with Championship managers. No progress. If we take a draw tomorrow, we turn up like we did at Swansea, we'll batter them on the counter. That'd be lovely. Ooh. The downfall with Farker is no plan B and not making changes when it's not working. Right. True. Not good. That is a downfall. I agree. I accept that. Fine. I'll ask you a further question. Was it enough of a downfall? In fact, two further questions. Is it enough of a downfall for you to want to see him lose his job? Is question one. And question two is, were you calling for Marcelo Bielsa to lose his job after the first season in the Championship? Because no plan B is the same as Bielsa. The phrase was literally, plan B is just plan A but better. Same thing. And he also wasn't known for making the right changes at the right time. How many times did people complain that Tyler Roberts was coming on, for example? It's the exact same complaint. It feels like we're holding double standards for some reason, you know? That's wild. I was starting to like you, Jim. That's a wild take. At Championship level, Farker's a decent coach. Would have concerns about him at Premier League level, but given 10 to 12 matches, see how he does should Leeds gain promotion. And yeah, it's a spot where if he gets promoted, brilliant. Well done, you've done your job. And now what we can do from here is we can actually invest in you like Norwich didn't. And we can try and like build a future at the side. Rather than, what do we do? Like, till Christmas. Why not? That'll do. Limited by the players at his disposal. Yeah, I've been saying throughout the season, it's a manager's job to create the system in which the players thrive. And the fact that we've got people complaining that time and time again we're underperforming the XG or stuff like that. That XG comes from the system. It's systemic. That's where it builds. Your complaint is with the players rather than the manager. Score predictions. I think we get a comeback 2-2 draw in the first leg and win the second leg at home. That would be spectacular. I'd love that. That'd be great fun. That would be because and I will say this again, and I will have to say this louder for some reason. He literally has our highest win rate of any permanent manager in history. Might be a reason. Yeah, he still has a higher win rate than Don Revie. But let's sack him. Whatever happens this season, Bamford, Firpo, Elan needs to be upgraded with more consistent players. At the very least, they need competition. That's what they need. 49ers are bound to say he stays. It's too late to get rid until after the playoffs. How do you mean too late to get rid? Do you not mean early? Or have I not understood? That's a big possibility. That one. Why for so many years do we still have Bamford on our hands? Right. I'm gonna have to... I'm going to have to do, like, a video intro of, like, Joe turns into the stats bitch. Because we have this conversation far too often. Let's go to Leeds United shooting stats, if that's your big complaint. The only player currently at the club with more than 5 90s that has a higher shot accuracy than Patrick Bamford is Liam Cooper, who has had 3 shots all season. Patrick Bamford's shot accuracy, by the way, 43.4%. Clear of Piru, clear of Somerville, clear of Dan James. Shots per 90, Patrick Bamford is at the top. Shots on target per 90, Patrick Bamford is at the top. Goals per shot on target, Patrick Bamford outperforms Piru, outperforms Mateo Joseph, outperforms Somerville, outperforms Anthony, outperforms Rutter. Average shot distance, significantly lower than the majority of the team because he's actually a number 9. That's why we keep having Bamford on our hands. Because when you've got a striker who scores a goal every other game he plays, which he's done this season, 16 90s, 8 goals in the league. I could include the cup if you want, but the numbers will help me even more. That's what you're looking for. And that's what you get. Agreed on this one. Agreed on this one. Let's smash Norwich. It could be very, very, very fun to just win, couldn't it? To just win comfy. I'd love it. Would Leeds fans be upset if Farker was sacked? I'd be confused. Incredibly confused. The other teams that went up with Norwich also didn't invest much more, but Norwich still finished bottom of the Prem both times. That's the only thing that worried me. That Norwich squad wasn't great, though. That's what I'm thinking. Who else came up with Norwich, actually? Is it Villa and Fulham? I thought Fulham went back down. Villa stayed up, but Villa just threw cash at it. I wouldn't be impressed if he was sacked. I think it'd be the height of stupidity. I'm in the same spot. Regardless, he's best for the Championship. I am also in the same spot. Everyone that's saying to get rid doesn't have an alternative in their head. Unless you can say it and persuade him to come to a club that has sacked their manager that got 90 points in a season. I back Farker, but to be fair, he has a high win rate because of the squad that's better than the league we're in. Look, there is a term. The term is there are lies, damned lies, and statistics. I want to cherry pick a stat to back Daniel Farker. Sue me. Yeah, it's fine. What is Farker's plan A? At least Bielsa's plan A was good to watch. The argument seems that Farker's football is bland and boring. And what? That's not an argument. That's just an opinion. Like you're not putting that in a specific direction. We do struggle with this. We do struggle to break teams down. Since this is on the Bamford thing, I'm going to pull out my favourite stat to the point that I've got it memorised. His first season in the Premier League and the only season in the Premier League where he was actually fully fit for an extended period of time, he scored the 4th most goals in the division behind only Harry Kane, Heung-min Son and Mo Salah. Tell me that shit. I'm going to skip a bunch of comments because I'm way behind. Except I am, very briefly, going to pop back to this one for a moment. He's performing on his XG, as he should be. That's what happens. That's how XG works. This is it, basically. Good striker, injury prone. It's fine. No, he hasn't. Read your tactics right. This is about right. So I'm going to check all competitions this season. Cool. Why can't I find this stat? This is really annoying me. Toggle per 90 stats. There we go. Pat Bamford goals 0.48 per 90. He scores at the same rate as Crescencio Somerville. Or are we saying that Crescencio Somerville's had a bad season? Because that feels like a bold fucking shout. Graham Potter. I feel like Graham Potter is someone that would want a very stable next job. the number of jobs he's turned down because he thinks the project isn't right for him is huge. And I don't think you get that stability at a club that fires the manager for coming third and getting into the play. Oh, that was fun. Well done, camera. I did tell myself I was probably going to go until the camera died, but luckily we've got the webcam camera. Yeah, I think Potter wants stability, and I don't think in that case we'd be able to offer it. Degenerate Yellow, you're now my favourite. I'm not entirely sure on this one. Have we analysed the problem with set pieces, the coaching, or the people on the end, or the taker? I do wonder where we would be if we could score them. This is a good point, yeah. I imagine it's something that's been analysed, but the fact of the matter is we don't have very good takers. Our best free kick taker is one of Joel Piroux and Crescencio Somerville, for example, and all of our crossing is not good enough. Honestly, if we don't get a real number 10 next year, we'll be in the same position. Leicester, Ipswich has a 10 that bangs and goals from outside the box and is creative. Rutter would be a better right winger. I think there's a shout for putting Rutter in like an attacking double pivot. If Bamford's so good, how come we're not struggling to keep him? Because he's injury prone. No one has denied that he is injury prone, because he is. That's true. Fine. But when he isn't injured, real good. That's the thing. Scores the goals, but injured. If Norwich or West Brom are promoted, both will come straight back down. They don't have big backers. Ipswich have been riding the crest of a wave for 2 seasons, but will be found out and relegated. I don't know. They've got a lot of spirit. Bamford never plays, of course, his potential will be higher over the same number of games. That's not how that works. It is per 90. It is literally a rate stat. And with 16 90s, I would call that pretty good. I would say that by, when was 16 games in, by late December, you'd have some idea if Crescencio Somerville was a good winger. You'd have some idea of if Archie Gray was a good player. 16 games is plenty to get an idea of where someone is. Bananas are yellow and grass is green. Norwich are going to play the best you've ever seen. Very brave, considering the fact that I know a Norwich fan who thinks you're losing. But I like the poetry. I think we should make a rule that like all comments need to be in poet format. That'd be fun. Degenerate Yellow, you are now back to like top tier of people I like, but not the top. After that adds up to 11. 4-3-3, that could work, to be fair. A little bit more solidity. But I'm gonna go for another. Hold on. Just planning out when we're sorting, having a Chinese and watching Doctor Who. This is surprisingly vibey music. I really like it. It's not the same as my Parisian cafe vibes that I always put together, but Ipswich will stay up, Leicester and Forest will fight out for the bottom. I think Leicester's points deduction is going to screw them next season. Ipswich won't keep McKenna once gone. They're back down. Yeah, they're going to have to fight for him, I think. Just play with the goalkeeper. You are back in my good books. Keeping the champagne on ice should Leeds get promoted. If they don't, I will keep it on hold for next season when in Farke's second season we should get promotion. Yeah. There we go. Positive vibes. It's more fun. More enjoyable. Bamford's contract was to play a full season, not a couple of months season. It's not an old field. No one is saying that, Chris. You're making shit up. This is why we have a squad. This is why football teams are more than 11 players. Because people get injured. It happens sometimes. Unless, of course, we're putting Archie Gray in the old folks' home because he spent something like 8 months last season injured. when he was supposedly meant to be having his breakthrough under Jesse Marsch, but that didn't happen because injuries. So unless we're considering that as a further, like, old person, 18-year-old Archie Gray, then fair enough. Oh, that'd be lovely. That'd be fantastic. I love that. Considering a 5-back for the away game and take it to them at home, I'm in the spot of if you completely change your system, you're just going to cause you more problems than you cause them. It's a problem. Ipswich will keep momentum like we did with Bielsa. I think so, if they keep McKenna and the core of that team together. Do good recruitment and they'll be fine. What do you think our chances are next season with the likes of the bottom 3 going down in the Premier League? I think they will be reasonably okay if we do go up, because I can see that big ol' Leicester points deduction coming. And the likes of Forest could be in a very similar sort of doomed situation. I don't think it'll be a strong Premier League next season. Not the end of the world if we don't go up this season. I've enjoyed the Championship. Yeah, it's been fine. It's been okay. If you know Bamford's injury prone, why keep him? Because he's got a contract. And if people aren't putting bids in for him, you can't really sell him. When does his contract end? Let's have a quick look. I've just gotten rid of the tab that I wanted to keep, which is bad. Cool, 2026. So you keep him because no one's put in a bid yet. Because last summer, who's going to put money into Patrick Bamford after he's been effectively killed off by Jesse Marsch? And various injuries. Yeah. And coming into this summer, yeah, maybe we move him on. But if not, we've got a contract with him, and whilst he's on the pitch, he's useful. And that's okay. That was the wrong one. I back Everton, Leicester and Forest to go down next season unless we West Brom or Norwich win the playoffs, then Everton survive. I think Dyche is doing a very weird job at Everton. I'm very confused by that. Big relegation fight, that is a good point. It's going to be a bit punchy, I think. Areas where we're lacking, ball playing 10, very true. Strong left and right back. I think when Firpo's had a run of games, like he has recently, he's proven that he can be very good. Upgrade goalkeeper. I think like even level of goalkeeper. Because what Meslier needs is a competitor. Because that's where his consistency kicks in. And this, yep. Because some things you can't just define by statistics, some things are about structure. And that's what Pat brings. A little bit more structure. Problem is no real Pablo replacement. Yep, it's been a problem for a while. For a time, for specifically one season, we had Rafinha in that role. Although out wide. And occasionally a right back. This is bullshit. Because that was before relegation, which means he's earning significantly less than 70k. But if we really want to be complaining about players' wages, Diego Llorente, even after relegation, was on 70k a week. Too late. Bamford does my nut in, like climb down off his back when not signing Haaland as much as you want us to. Yeah. Let's say we go up. Who are your favourites to be relegated? My apologies, Locks, but I think Leicester will be in trouble. Because of that points deduction that is almost certainly coming. Forest are in a similar spot where their money isn't good, and I remember Dyche saying that... what was I going to say? Dyche saying that basically every single Everton player's got a price tag. So they have a lot of selling to do. So they could be just problems. Yeah, weirdly, Mitchell, I'm getting that suspicion as well. What are the chances? Are the chances slim for a non-member to get a playoff ticket, final ticket if Leeds get there? Right, Wembley holds 90k. 40k per club with 10k to corporate is roughly what happened last season. Oh, very slim. But there'll be external places doing like corporate stuff, which that might be okay. I don't know. Nobody will ever put a bid in for Bamford. Every time his name's mentioned by opposition fans, they start smoking. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because I've literally had a conversation with a Norwich fan about this. I've had a conversation with a Norwich fan who watches the game for a living. And I'm going to very quickly see what he said. He asked me if Bamford had been ruled out, and I said, yeah, it's not great news for us. His response was, I saw he's been ruled out for both legs, which is a blow for you. It's going to be a very interesting game on Saturday. I think we've got a little bit more of a chance now. But, okay. Tell me what Norwich fans are saying. It's not that I hate it, I just don't see the point of it. Like, he's at the club. Shouting about it isn't going to change anything. It's okay. You can't go on strike to make them sell Pat Bamford. Especially when he's played in the 9, he's been our best player that's played in the 9 this season so far. But a lot of people aren't ready to hear that. And another thing that a lot of people might not necessarily be ready to hear is that is roughly time for the end of the stream. Because I got to get some food and I got to watch a little bit of Doctor Who. I admit, I also watched it when it released at midnight last night, but I am a big nerd. And I'm really looking forward to it again, to be honest. Good episode. I'll read this one. Fine. You got in time, Michael. Leeds to have the best potential should they go up with the promoted teams. Yet the 49ers backing up big plans for Leeds. They won't make the same mistakes as previous owners. I'll also do this one. I'd rather support the team than be negative and right. Yeah. Let's just do good vibes. That's what this channel's for. Either way, hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, pop a like on it down below. It's one click. It's easy enough to do. Same if you're not subscribed yet. That is equally simple and is huge for helping to push the channel forwards a little bit. Comment in the VOD thing if you're watching afterwards what you think is going to happen in the upcoming match, how you're feeling. Let's hope it goes well. And I also have a video coming out at 6 about a player that Leeds United have reportedly sold, which should be quite fun. Either way, hope you enjoyed. I will see you later and hope the end stream button works quickly this time. You know, I'll find out. I'll press it now and then I'll count.